Okay, so now we will start this chapter, chapter number 19. Okay, potentization. Okay, and I can tell this chapter is the means you can tell vital organ of your pharmacy. Okay, means without this chapter you cannot imagine of homeopathic pharmacy. Okay, because this chapter has actually given how homeopathic drugs are prepared. Okay, that's why this chapter is important. Anyhow, okay, question will come from this chapter. Okay, it may be in any form. Okay, it may be in short note, long question, but every year I have seen, okay, any question will be from this chapter. Okay, this is very important chapter. Okay, that's why be careful. Definition. Okay, what is potentization? Okay, what is the potentization? What we okay, normally in general language you have understood this is dilution and giving some threshold energy, but some proper wordings are there, okay, that you have to remember as it is. It is a mathematico-mechanical process by virtue of which the inherited dormant dynamic curative power of the drug is aroused or increased by modifying drug strength or drug power to dynamic power through stimulation and successive process of dilution and friction in definite order according to the pharmacopoeia. Okay, remember this. Okay, according to the pharmacopoeia, you have to just follow these things. Okay, again we will see once again this. Okay, it is the mathematico-mechanical process by virtue of which the inherited dormant dynamic curative power of the drug is aroused or inherited by modifying drug strength or drug power to dynamic power through stimulation and successive power of dilution and friction in definite order according to the pharmacopoeia. Okay, any words you have not understood, okay, please tell me. Okay, any word you have not understood, because this definition is important. Okay, you need to remember this definition as it is. Okay, that's why this definition is important. Okay,
Sir, what do you mean? Do we mean by dormant dynamic curative power?
dormant dynamic curative power. Okay, just dormant means like normally say if say you have like any seed of any pea, okay, means dry seed, what we tell when before just it is grown into a plant, we tell it as a dormant. Okay, dormant means hidden. Okay, so here dynamic power, okay, curative power is hidden, but when we give trituration and proper threshold energy, it just convert into a medicine. Okay, I will give one more example. Okay, that is related with homeopathy. Silicia, you know silicia. Silica, you know silica.
Yes, sir.
Okay, silica. When we do trituration, silica is just one type of this chemical, or you can tell one of the thing of periodic table. Okay, in dormant state it doesn't have any type of medicinal value. Okay, it is just one like a, we just tell this is a stone. Okay, just like that. Okay, it doesn't have any type of medicinal value. Okay, but this silica is triturated with mother sugar of milk. Okay, as per homeopathic process. Okay, then what happened, we get one medicine that is called as a silicia. Okay, and this is very good medicine in homeopathy. Later on you will study when you will go to second year, third year. Okay, so that's why it is called a dormant. Sometimes which are in normal material doses. Okay, they are not, they doesn't have any medicinal property, but when we do trituration or succussion, or we give some dilute it and give some threshold energy, what happened, it just turned into a some drug. Okay, that's why it is called as a dormant. Okay, understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, means before it doesn't have medicinal value, but when we just like snake poison. Okay, snake poison, these are poison. Okay, this doesn't have any medicinal value, but in low quantity, when we do trituration and succussion process, it's after some time, after just a processing to 1x 2x 3x, it turns into a medicine. Okay, that process is called as a dormant power is converted into dynamic power. Okay, we will go through this, okay, in deeper way in this chapter, and we will get the more information. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I will we will go to next part. Okay. 2 minutes na. Okay, then Hahnemann in his preface to the fifth volume, okay, of the chronic diseases, okay, chronic disease one book he has written Materia Medica Pura, he has written Organon of Medicine, he has written chronic diseases. So in the fifth volume of the chronic disease, okay, what happened, homeopathic dynamizations are processed by which the medicinal properties which are latent in natural substances while in their crude state becomes erased and then become unable to act in an almost spiritual manner in our life. Okay, same thing he is explaining. Okay, what Dr. Henneman has written in chronic diseases is some drugs are there, some materials are there. When they are dormant, they don't have like treated as a potentized, they are just a dormant, they are not working as a medicine. Okay, but when we just go through some processing, that is the potentization, okay, just dilution and giving some threshold energy, okay, it convert into a good homeopathic medicine. Okay, so homeopathic dynamization are process by which the medicinal properties which are latent in natural substances while in their crude states become aroused and then become enabled to act in an almost spiritual manner in our sensible and irritable fiber. Okay, dynamic power. Okay, now again I will tell here one more thing, ki material dose works at the physiological level. Okay, material dose means like suppose we are taking vegetables, okay, we are taking rice, okay, they just we take by mouth, okay, then they go to it goes to stomach and properly digested, and after that we get the nutrition from the our stomach and this all the intestinal parts. Okay, they important nutrients are just absorbed. Okay, but when we tell about the dynamic power are not the material dose. Okay, it is just absorbed, or this our nerve fibers are stimulated. Okay, this just help us to stimulate our nerve fibers. Okay, and with the help of nerve fibers it goes to our brain and it stimulates our body to just fight against the diseases. Okay, that's why it is called as a dynamic power. Okay, because after dilution and uh, proper potentization, it doesn't have any material dose. Okay, it is nearly like there is no any material dose. That's why it works on the dynamic level. Okay, so physiological level is different thing which are in material dose, that works on the physiological level. Okay, what we study in physiology. Okay, but which are dynamic, okay, which are already potentized, and after some potency what will happen, their actual material is not there. Okay, so that's why it is called as a dynamic dose. Okay, and this dynamic dose works on the, that's why Dr. Henneman has told this works on the spiritual manner. Okay, that is the on the our nerve fibers, it works on our nerve fibers. Okay, spiritual manner in our life is that in our sensible and irritable fibers. Okay, this development of properties of crude natural substances dynamization takes place in the case of dry substances by means of trituration in mortar, but in the case fluid substances by the means of shaking or succussion, which is also a trituration. Okay, that succussion process is just a nearby a trituration process. Okay. Okay, so till here anything, any words you are not understanding in this paragraph, anything you have not understood? Hahnemann in his preface to fifth volume, okay, of chronic diseases defines homeopathic dynamizations are processed by which the medicinal properties which are latent in natural substances while in their crude states become aroused and then become enabled to act in a almost spiritual manner in our life is that in our sensible and irritable fibers this development of properties of crude natural substances dynamization takes place in the case of dry substances by means of trituration in a mortar, but in the case of fluid substances by means of shaking or succussion, which is also a trituration. Okay, anything you have not understood? Okay, for everyone it is okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. So now we will go ahead. You will understand slowly. If still you are not understanding, okay, when we will go through examples and this potentization parts, okay, you will understand. Okay, okay. According to start close, okay, already I told, okay, for at first year level, don't go on so much deep, okay, just what Dr. Henneman has told, okay, that you have to remember, okay, but sometimes it happens, some examiner they ask what this stalwarts has told, okay. According to start close, homeopathic dynamization is mathematico-mechanical process for the reduction according to the scale of crude inert or poisonous medicinal substances to a state of physical solubility, physiological assimilability, okay, therapeutic activity and harmless for use as homeopathic healing remedies. The doctrine of drug dynamization was introduced into the homeopathic through fifth edition of Organon of Medicine published in 1833. Okay, so just remember the doctrine of drug dynamization or potentization was introduced into the homeopathic through the fifth edition of Organon of Medicine published in 1833. Remember it. This may be a good question for objective examinations. Okay, fifth edition. Okay, before that fifth edition, before that Dr. Henneman used to give a crude drug substances as per other system of medicine, okay, crude form of particular drugs he used to give to his patient, okay, but later on with experiments he came to know if you will dilute and give some threshold energy it will be more powerful, okay, like atom bomb, okay, you know atom bomb, hydrogen bomb, okay, they are very small but they are very much powerful, okay, so like that. So history of development of theory of dynamization. Okay, so just we will go to history part, how it is started and how Dr. Henneman has come to the process of dynamization process. Okay, till 50 millisiemel potency, 1 is to 50,000. Okay, you already we have studied about the different scales, so already you know. Okay, from crude form to 1 is to 50,000 scale. Okay, means one part drug material, 50,000 vehicle. Okay, no medicine. Okay, so like that. So first in 1796 already you know after the discovery of homeopathy in essay of new principle published in 1796 Hahnemann gave no information about the drug dynamization. Okay, at that time he was using the crude form of drug. Since 1796 he selected remedies homeopathically but used them in a usual form and in ordinary dose. Okay, usual form means crude form. Okay, just usual normal form as other system of medicines do till now, okay, in other parts of the world, okay, like allopathy, ayurveda, unani, chinese medicine, siddha, okay, different system of medicine, european medicines, okay, all the medicines what they do they just give the material doses, okay, so like that, ordinary doses, but he come to notice that cure in many cases produces aggravation of the symptoms and consequently more suffering of the patient, okay, means like if you see the allopathic books, okay, there you will find ki many drugs they are good but in proper, if their dose is increased they will just give a so much harmful effect to our body, okay, like in second year in forensic medicine and toxicology you will study, okay, this drug, okay, this much dose this is well and good, but when it exceeds from this it is a fatal dose, okay, lethal dose or fatal dose, okay, lethal dose, fatal dose, that are also important, okay, that you will study in forensic medicine, okay, okay, fatal means death, okay, that causes death, there is no option, okay, Lethal dose means they will just produce a harmful effect in your body. Okay, that is called as a lethal dose. About this also we will study in doses, different doses. Okay, so ordinary doses. Okay, but he come to notice that cure in many cases need aggravation of symptoms. Okay, there is many aggravation of symptoms are there. Okay, and consequently more suffering of the patient. Okay, means if dose is increased, patient will not tolerate that dose and he will be suffered more than before. Okay, then and more suffering of the patient, and in more cases definite injury to the patient occurred bringing without bringing uh, eventual recovery of the patient. This led him gradually to decrease the doses. Okay, this decrease of doses. Okay, like 1 each to 9. Okay, one part is medicine, 9 part is vehicle. 1 each to 99, one part is medicine, 99 is vehicle. Then 1 each to 50,000. Okay, then one part is medicine and 50,000 part is vehicle. Okay, this is the reduction of doses. Okay, like what happens in atomic energies. Okay, okay, the reduction. Then what happened after 2 years? Okay, 1796, 1798. Okay, what happened? We find him recommending Huffland's journals in an article. Okay, he was he used to study every time. Okay, so he just found Huffland. Okay, again one of the stalwarts of homeopathy. Okay, in his journal. Okay, in an article, some kind of continued and remittent fever. The prescription of arnica root in doses of several. Okay, means he has seen when you are studying the Huffland's remark. Okay, about Huffland's remark, you will study in the organ of medicine also, footnote also you will study. Okay, so he has studied in Huffland's remark. Okay, what he has told, in prescription of arnica root in the dose of several. Okay, arnica montana is one of homeopathic medicines. Okay, what I have given you this HPI. Okay, this PDF, there you can find. Okay, arnica montana is one of homeopathic medicine. Okay, okay, the grains, then Ignitia 2 to 3 grains, opium 1 by 5th grains, okay, 2 1 by 2 grains, camphor 30 to 40 grains, ledampa 6 to 7 grains. In 1798, we find first a hint of dilution of drug. Okay, so after 2 year, okay, 1796, after 2 year when he was studying the Hofland's remark, okay, Hofland, okay, remark he studied, he just got an idea, okay, about the dilution of the doses, okay, and giving some threshold energy. Okay, he used to prescribe sabina and hyoscyamus. Okay, HYO is hyoscyamus. Okay, in 1 by 16th to 1 by 30th grain. Okay, means one part is medicine, 16 part is vehicle. One part is medicine, 30 part is the vehicle. Okay, of the concentration solution and stramonium. Stramonium, already you know it is a poison. Okay, stramonium, about the poisonous effect of stramonium you will study in your forensic medicine and toxicology. I will tell again. Okay, in second year. Okay, to 1 by 1000 of the concentration juice, because this is poisonous. That's why how much dilution you can do. Okay, then again we will go to next part. Okay, in 1799 to 1801, what he did, he advocated very small dose called as a infinitesimal doses. Okay, means infinite doses. Okay, already you know the meaning of infinite. Okay, doses in a treatise. Okay, treasury of medicine and collection of selected prescriptions, we find increasing number of remarks concentrating concerning very small doses. He mentioned the use of arsenic in 1 by 10th million part of a grain. 1 by 10th million means you understand how much diluted. Arsenic is also a big bad, very bad poison. Okay, arsenic poisoning. Okay, here also rice watery stool. Okay, cholera already you know. Okay, cholera is one disease where, okay, stool is like a rice water. Okay, and in arsenic album, arsenic also, stool is like a rice water. Okay, so sometimes it is very difficult to judge the patient is suffering from arsenic poisoning or patient is suffering from cholera. without lab test it is not easy to confirm. Okay, then after that, 1802 we find him using veratrum by 1 by 2000 grains. Miserium, okay, this is also veratrum. Miserium is, this is one, again one of homeopathic medicine, 1 by 4 lakhs, okay, 4 lakhs grains. Okay, then stramonium 1 by 3 lakhs grain. Okay, all these things are homeopathic medicines. Okay, arsenic, stramonium, miserium, okay, all these things, veratrum. Okay, so he just starting dilution. Okay, then 1803, after observing, obviously marking initial experiment with certain medicines of considerable higher dilutions, Hahnemann gradually added stronger doses and then later returned to higher degree of dilution. Thus, we find Hahnemann is still growing and experimenting higher and higher, uh, without making a final decision, okay, regarding the potencies and doses of the drugs. Okay, means he is just giving dilutions he was increasing. Suppose he has diluted miserium to this level, he found some patient again aggravation, homeopathic aggravation. Okay, means again they have got some bad reactions, again he started diluting like that. Okay, every time it was like that. Okay, so he has not given any confirmation about that when he has done this. Okay, then 1804 to 1811, okay, nothing definitely was written by Hahnemann in the medicines of experience. His book was there, Medicines of Experience, published in 1805. There in a good deal about the purity of dynamic action of the drug. Okay, clearly he has told about the dynamic action of the drug, the incredibly small quantity of them that will um, suffice for the cure and the absolutely superiority in the point of the power of the weakest medicines over the over the severest disease. But all this is uh, insisted upon the chiefly in the relation to the excellability present in the disease. Okay, for it is stated that the same doses has no effect on the healthy or on those patients for whose disease the drug is not suitable. But this, but there is an there is in this essay no allusions to an increase of power by the increasing of trituration and succussion. Indeed, no particular mentioned in the made of any peculiarity in the homeopathic pharmaceutical process. Up to this period, dimension of the doses were advised normally for the sake of preventing of too violent action of the drugs. Okay, so always he was doing the dilution process. Okay, when he was doing the dilution process, he was just taking care. Suppose he was diluting at this level, and any patient came to him with some aggravation or some reaction of homeopathic medicine, again he is started diluting at more level. Okay, that's why any type of violent action of homeopathic medicines he found, he just started diluting it. Okay, and but he has not given any demarcation line about the dilution key, it should be diluted till this level only. Okay, remedy given according to the new therapeutic principles, the sensibility begins to such excelsion for such medicines in the disease state. This doctrine is again precisely and especially expressed in the short essay published in 1809. Okay, all these things what he was experiencing, all that he was doing with his patients. Okay, everything in his experiences he was writing. Okay, so next we will go to the next part. Okay, in this first edition of Organon of Medicine published in 1810. Okay, so Organon of Medicine first part when it was published 1810. Okay, so you will study about this again in the Organon of Medicine. Okay, the dynamization theory is not yet rooted. Okay, he was doing this process. Okay, but he was not given any written documentation, but just his medicines, his prescriptions were showing he was diluting. Okay, but officially he was was not given any theory on this about the dilution process. Okay, but in 1810 when he was published the first edition of Organon of Medicine, there also he has not given any root or any clue about the potentization process. Okay, but everything were clear, okay, on his prescriptions when he was prescribing to his medicine to his patients. Okay, at that time everything were clear. Okay, no changes in their spoken of as taking places in the properties of the drug by the process employed to procure in subdivisions such as we find the subsequently conceived to take place by the pharmaceutical maneuver. The dimensions of the doses has for its only object to prevent the aggravations and of the development of accessory sufferings. Okay, so means only aim of this dilution was to just avoid the aggravation of homeopathic medicines, or in other language you can tell the reactions of the homeopathic medicines, and to avoid the suffering of the or to cure their patient. This was the only reason of his dilution process. Okay, only this is the process for dilution. Okay, only uh, reason why he was diluting and he was prescribing the medicines. Okay, from from the above discussion, it is evident that Hahnemann's uh, notations at the time was, what was the notations or what was the conclusions? By diminishing the size of the doses, he intended to avoid aggravation and to a accessory effect of the medicine. Okay, so what is the conclusion? Conclusion is that when he was diluting, always his aim was to just avoid the extra action or the bad action of the homeopathic medicines. Okay, because of the material dose, sometimes there may be the aggravation on the body. Okay, and this happens nowadays also. Sometimes this same dose of medicine is good in material doses for some patient, but same dose of medicine may causes reaction to the other patients. Okay, by the process employed in the diminishing the doses, which uh, by the infinitesimal mixtures of the medicines with a non-medicinal vehicles by mean of vigorous shaking, an increase of activity is alleged to be produced. Okay, so here this is the process of trituration or succussion. The one point or some quantity of medicine is just put on non-medicinal substances, that is already we tell it as a vehicle. Okay, so there it is kept. Okay, and vigorous shaking or giving some threshold of friction. Okay, we just give some different potency or different power of the medicine. Okay, that potential power or that static power is converted into the dynamic power. Okay, already you know about this in from class ninth. Okay, different power. Okay, like potential energy is converted into the kinetic energy or dynamic energy. Okay, kinetic energy. Okay, anything is in inertia, and when you give some forces, it convert into dynamic energy. Okay, already you know energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, it can be converted from one form to other forms. Okay, next we will see 1812 to 1815. It was on record the Hahnemann prescribed arnica in the 18th and nux vomica in the 9th centesimal dilution. Okay, definite statement about the use of a small quantity of the medicines are to be found in his article. Okay, the treatment of typhus fever at present prevailing. Okay, so he has treated typhus fever at that time, and he has written some article. Okay, and on that article he has clarified these things. Okay, he actually arnica and nux vomica when he was using, so he has clearly mentioned ki how he has using for clarification or for treatment of typhus fever, that is called as a typhoid. Okay, published published in the published in 1814. Experience provided the efficacy of diluted medicines. Okay, then next we will see. So you remember, okay, you just remember these things for actually remember these things for your objective examinations. Okay, key like 1812 to 15 typhus fever he has first written. Okay, in his article, the treatment of typhus fever at the present prevailing. Okay, he has written about the dilution process. Okay, Then 1816, 1827. Okay, what he has done. Hahnemann gradually increased the dilution of the medicine demand uh, with demands for higher and higher dilution. Okay, then oppositions from allopathy as well as the section of followers of the Hahnemann also grew more and more. Okay, so when he was diluting the medicine, okay, already you know every time when you are doing something else, okay, and you knew, okay, and when you are getting more name and fame, okay, people used to just oppose you. Okay, so these things started happening to him. 1816 to 1827, all these problems were happening to him. Okay, so okay, today we will see till here only. Okay, this next part we will see next time. Okay, so till here, any doubt you have, anything you want to ask in this history part about the potentization, historical changes, how Dr. Honeyman has changed everything. Okay, so anything you want to ask regarding this? Any doubt? Hello?
No, sir.
No, no, everything is clear. Okay, just go through this part. Okay, this is very important for like your competitive exams. Okay, and by this also you understand a basic thing. Okay, very basic. You understand ki how he started the process of dilution of the medicines. Okay, so these things are